right, it is Monday, the 5th of May. We are live on Twitch. Sorry about the garbled startup there, but wanted to make certain everything was working properly on here before we got going too quickly. It is, again, a very quiet Monday. Happy Cinco de Mayo for those of you who are celebrating tonight. Wish I could be out there with you, but I'll have to celebrate on Seis de Mayo at some point in time a little bit later on. But for right now, again, little, if anything, really going on. Chances of rain back in the forecast after tomorrow, and then we see again the potential for maybe some more showers and thunderstorms that could be a bit of a problem out there into the next several days. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. This is Weather Overtime. You are watching again from the News 12 studios in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is where we are based and where we are coming from for tonight. So again, thanks for joining us and pulling us up on Twitch and or YouTube for tonight. So far for tonight, again, little if anything to be seen. We do have, again, the potential for more thunderstorms toward the end of the week. We're not seeing too much of anything out there for right now in the way of severe weather. So, again, hopefully it stays that way. We are also getting close to, it's hard to believe that we've turned the entire corner of the year to keep an eye out for the situations that change in a very short amount of time. In about 10 days from now, the hurricane season will start in the eastern Pacific. In just shy of a month's time, it will start in the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and back into around portions of the Gulf of Mexico. That is significant, and now, before anything else happens, now is the time to get ready when it comes to making certain you are ready to go. And we'll talk more about Hurricane Preparedness Week coming up here in just a little bit, so stay tuned for more there. We've got, again, a beautiful evening. It's going to be a little bit chilly out there for tonight, so if you have any plans for outdoors, definitely want to make certain you take a jacket along with you, as we will see, again, the potential for some very chilly conditions out there for this evening. Let me get my cameras set up and ready to go. Should have had this done earlier, but unfortunately trying to troubleshoot the computer that I'm operating Twitch on for right now, the one that I'm on over here, not the YouTube computer. This computer that I did Twitch on earlier did a very good job of passing away last week about the time that Chip Chapman was using it on the morning show. So as of right now, we have a brand new computer system to record Twitch on. It's going beautifully as far as I can see so far. Hopefully it's not, again, too much of an issue for anybody to be able to see what's happening. Trying to adjust the audio. Desktop audio is acting a little weird, so hopefully that's not causing a problem out there for right now. Again, what we're looking for tonight should be decently quiet. I'm just worried about this. Give me just 2 seconds here to make certain that I'm not blasting everybody out with an audio problem. I have to use our speaker system here. Okay, it sounds like we're on, but it sounds like the audio is a little bit low, so I may have to address that here coming up in just a little bit. So for right now, again, decently quiet and should remain that way for tonight. Looking at the area around the Plainview Outdoor Advertising Camera, you're looking at Highway 153 and 64. So we are seeing, again, pretty good travel conditions out there for tonight. We are not seeing anything in the way of rain or slowed down potential out there for anything involving travel, which is good news. Nothing really major, again, for this evening, but we could be looking at the potential for some more problems with rainfall in the course of the next couple of days. So again, this could be a little bit of a problem out there for travelers relatively soon. So that appears to be the main concern for the time being. So that is what we're looking at for right now. Let me increase the audio by just a little bit. Hopefully that'll help you hear everything on there, and that should hopefully, again, work a little bit better. Sorry if you have to increase the audio on there for tonight. We'll do some more test runs and get everything taken care of to where it should be on there for this evening. All right, let's take a look around some of the rest of the area before we get to the rest of the forecast. From the Chattanooga Zoo, there's Spirits in the Wild Party coming up on May 17th. I-24 traffic on Missionary Ridge and Holtzclaw Avenue making its way through the area. Beautiful conditions for right now. Again, beautiful night to be out and about. The lights turned off on the footbridge, which again is undergoing major repair and not going to be open again until December of 26. So there's a lot that goes on, and a change order was issued not too long ago for today, or somewhere in the last few days, that there's going to have to be a new type of construction for the suspension part of the bridge to be installed. You can find the details at WDEF.com, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit more expensive to get the footbridge all taken care of on here, so we'll see how well that works in the next several weeks and months. So stay tuned to News 12 for updates. Lookout Mountain, Ruby Falls, Broad Street, right across the street from the News 12 studios, from the 7-Eleven right there, and beautiful conditions, dry for right now. See if we can get a report from the airport here. 62 degrees, not doing too bad there. Winds are calm, a few clouds around, and again, hopefully it'll stay dry throughout the rest of the evening. Doesn't look too bad for now. From the 2475 junction, always try to feature this camera because of the fact that unfortunately this is something that is an area that we try to keep track of when it comes to anything involving traffic backups and things of that nature. So everything moving along pretty well at this point, so definitely some good news there. And as of right now, again, for the rest of the evening, should be very quiet. Let's go ahead and hop on over and see what's going on the maps for the rest of the evening. Again, it's not really much for now. We do have, again, new storm systems coming in. We've been in this what is called an omega block situation, as high pressure sticks around parts of the atmosphere and kind of drags everything to a halt. Our latest storm system would have been out of here except for high pressure blocking it back to the east of us over parts of the Canadian Maritimes and up toward the St. Lawrence Seaway. High pressure crowding in from central Canada down to the Pacific Northwest. This storm system is not going to be our next storm system. It's actually going to be this system down across the Rio Grande. And as it gets stronger, this is going to make its way a little closer to us, drawing in moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. And that is going to, again, give us the potential for more rainfall. Not tonight and not tomorrow. We've got a little bit of grace time here, but more potential rainfall will be heading our way in the course of the next couple of days. So what are we looking for overnight? Not bad. Early in the morning, chilly. Temperatures in the 40s and the lower 50s. By the afternoon, should be sunshine with a lot of clouds gone from the picture, but mainly just sunshine out there. Storm system starts wandering our direction as we get into Wednesday morning, and we see those chances of rain sticking around off and on throughout the rest of the afternoon. So for the rest of the week, as these fronts converge, trying to move out of the way, but again, that block doing a good job of slowing things down. More chances of rain coming up as we go into Thursday. Looks like it cuts out by just a little bit, or at least it drops the potential by Friday morning. And then getting into Friday afternoon, there will be the potential of even more chances of showers and thunderstorms as this system tries to head off into the Atlantic. But again, we'll have a very hard time because of all that high pressure sitting up into the northwestern Atlantic. And that is where we may see, again, a lot of the problems for later on tonight when it comes to, again, next several days, to where everything could be racing on through here, but it's not, because high pressure, you can see a little bit more of that. There comes in that high pressure right behind that system back across the plain states, and that is where we're going to be seeing the trouble from any systems trying to race on through. High pressure doing a good job of acting as speed bumps or even stop signs, if you want to use that particular adage right there, or example, I guess would be a good way of saying it. So for tonight and into the next couple of days, Not bad on the temperatures. A little bit of cloud cover out there for tonight on the Island Cove Marina and Resort camera, all of our cameras are available on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network, and you can find that at wdef.com/weather if you'd like to take a look and see what's going on our cameras around the area. Here's the way it looks again into the next several days. Temperatures tomorrow with mostly sunny skies. Not bad, back in the mid-70s. Normal high temperatures for this time of the year, right about 78 degrees. So we'll be below normal for the next couple of days, right at normal by Thursday, below normal again for the end of the week, beginning of the weekend, above normal on Sunday, and back to below normal again for Sunday. So we'll kind of be doing this back and forth, but it's not going to be huge temperature differences out there. And again, hopefully that will be as good as it gets for now. We're in May, and we can easily get into the 90s. No question about that. That hasn't happened yet, and hopefully it will not. We'll continue to monitor that and see where we wind up with. Chances of rain best as we go from Wednesday, Thursday into early Friday. Then we catch a bit of a gap going into the weekend, and then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of next week, mainly from Friday onward, just showers. We're not seeing anything from the forecast center showing anything in the way of activity where it comes to large amounts of thunderstorms and the possibility of, again, no severe weather to be seen, but there will be chances of showers sticking around through the rest of the first full week of May and into the weekend and into, again, around the area of Monday. So we do see, again, that potential out there sticking around for some time. So outdoor activities, I know we're getting into end of the school year, field day, career day, graduation ceremony type situation. So this, again, could be a possible problem for outdoor activities. Not too many graduation ceremonies yet, but will be coming up on that time frame. So that's something for the school administrators to really keep an eye on at this point, to show that there will be the potential of more rainfall out there, and that could cause problems. And again, even though there's no severe weather, there could be lightning, there could be thunderstorms, so definitely want to pay attention to that over the next few days because we want to make certain everybody stays safe. And again, whoever's organizing whatever event, field day, graduation ceremonies coming up, whatever it is, if it's outdoors, you really need to keep an eye on what's going on with the lightning situation. That is absolutely imperative, and just random chances here, not great chances, about halfway through, 50-50, give or take. Even then, you really need to watch out with what's going on. Remember, lightning can strike 20 to 30 miles away from the parent thunderstorm. So if you see lightning or hear thunder, you are within range of getting struck by lightning. So why take a chance? Make certain everybody is back indoors again. Those lifeguards at the pool are not trying to ruin your swim. They're trying to make certain you leave the pool alive and unhurt. So don't get cranky with the lifeguards. They're trying to do their job, trying to keep you safe. So think about that the next time you want to grouse about everybody getting out of the pool and back into the building. You used to hear a lot about that at the Y back in Memphis, and a lot of people did not like to be notified of the fact that, hey, they're trying to help you, so get off their backs and let them do their job. That's one of the most important things to take a look at there. All right, let's take a look. That's pretty much the forecast for right now. Going to see what we did. The almanac was surprisingly good news for today. We were about a category below normal on the temperature. Last time we hit the normal high temperature, roughly, again, 78, 79 for this weekend and into this next week. We're about 10 degrees below that for today, and we picked up no rainfall today. But in the last couple of days during the weekend, we obviously got a pretty healthy amount, because now we're 2.5 inches ahead for the month of May already. So we could basically not get any more rainfall for about the next 2 to 2.5 weeks, almost to the end of the month, and we would still have a bit of a surplus. Now, we also picked up quite a lot for, again, the weekend, so that takes us up and over for the year, which means for the year, where we were very dry over the last couple of weeks, about 1.5 inches down, we are now about 1.25 inches up So we're in the black now where it comes to anything involving precipitation being collected. Very good news all the way around. Whether or not it stays that way, again, staying up where we should be, or at least decently normal for this time of the year, we'll see what happens. So we'll let you know about that, but we could be easily getting into the dry situation for the year. All right, our weather picture of the day for the weather window. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Celeste from Bridgeport, Alabama. A view of morning fog and sun over the Sand Mountain area. Beautiful pastel colors there, a little bit of steam fog out there up against the hills and off the water surface. So a beautiful view there. Thank you very much, Miss Celeste, for a beautiful view. If you've got pictures, we would love to see what you are seeing, so please send them on to us at pictures@wdef.com. Sorry for the glare on the screen there. For those of you who are watching on Twitch and on YouTube, unfortunately, it's on that camera as well. So trust me, it says pictures@wdef.com. I really wish they would have consulted me before putting this light where they did. It would be nice to be able to move this around so that I'm still fully shiny light here, but not up against the screen, which is, again, causing difficulties to be able to see. You can also email us again. You can also go to our social media pages, drop them in the comments section with a location and or a description, please. If you want to be anonymous, that's totally cool, but we'll even make up a name if you want us to. But if you give us an idea as to where you were and what you were doing, that would save us a lot of guesswork. So please, if you would consider that, would really appreciate that if at all possible. So thanks to everybody for sending in some great pictures. Should mention as well that if you want to go to the website, wdef.com/photos, that's a good place to drop your pictures off and take a look and see at what everybody else has been posting, because you can post your pictures there, and a good opportunity again to see more about what everybody else has been sending in. All right, for the morning on the News 12 Foundations Preschool and Academy school day forecast, it's going to be very chilly in the morning. In the River Valley, temperatures will be in the high 40s. Higher elevations of the Cumberland Plateau and over toward the Appalachians, we could be looking at even cooler conditions across portions of the area into overnight. So if you have any plans to get the kids up and going in the morning, we could be again seeing some very chilly numbers out there for tomorrow. What did I do with it? There we go. Low temperatures tonight. Again, notice lower 40s east of Chattanooga. Chattanooga and the River Valley, high 40s possible, and a few lower to mid 40s back across parts of the Cumberland Plateau. So please keep that in mind and make certain the kids are bundled up out there. If you're heading out to do anything in the way of outdoor activities, it should be beautiful. For the most part. Again, we've got nicer weather than we've seen all weekend long. A lot of sunshine, good time for getting out and about, but with that UV index in the higher category, definitely want to remember the sunblock. We ran a story tonight on News 12 Prime News at 7 about melanoma and skin cancer and what you can do to prevent that. That should be available on our website if you'd like to take a look at that. But otherwise, a beautiful day to get outdoors. Just make certain you stay healthy. Take the water along with you. Some sunblock wouldn't be quite a bad idea. And if you are going to be heading out for a round of golf, not looking too bad there. Temperatures also again in the 70s. Winds occasionally breezy to about 10 miles per hour, so there shouldn't be too much of a slice or a hook depending on which direction your course is oriented. So looking good all the way on through, and no problems at all for getting outdoors tomorrow. Day or so after that, Wednesday into the rest of the week, that's where we could be seeing some problems out there. All right, want to take a look at this. It's time to start this up again. As we approach the beginning of the season, the hurricane season for the Pacific starts a little bit earlier due to the conditions in the East Pacific. Warmer weather here earlier on and more disturbances making their way through. This area of the planet, the East Pacific, this hurricane season starts May 15th. So we will be seeing in the next 10 days issuances from the National Hurricane Center in regards to what's going on into the Eastern Pacific right up against the California and Mexican coastline. So this is where we could see a lot of problems, and some of those storms could wander up into the southwest United States. They are rare, but they still happen. Not to mention a good monsoonal flow could push a lot of moisture up into this part of the world. So from California to Texas, northwest Mexico, Baja, into that area, southern Rockies, these areas could get soaked if a storm system shoots the right angle and heads over that area. So that's why it's important that we take a look at both coasts and keep an eye as to what's going on. A little bit farther after that, again by June 1st, the Atlantic, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean, that is the start. The start of the season is June 1st. It has been. Whether or not that gets pushed back by a week or two thanks to human-induced climate change, it's a possibility. We'll wait and see what the experts say about that. But for right now, there's no tropical development on either coast for the next 2 to 7 days. So definitely some good news on that. But it's that time of the year where if you're heading to the coasts, any coast out there could be susceptible, depending on what happens, to the potential of a tropical storm happening. So keep it tuned to News 12. We will keep you updated on what may be going on here. Now, very important to note, and again, yes, I do know before anybody out there decides to start sending in information, we in the Chattanooga area are not on the coastline, and no, we don't get directly hit by tropical storms or hurricanes. Leftover storms, yes, but direct hit from storms fresh off the ocean, that doesn't happen to us. Yes, I understand that. So why are we talking about this? Because you may be heading to the beach, and if you are, that's great. Enjoy it for me. Pick up some trash while you're there. Keep the beach clean for everybody. Doesn't matter if if it's your trash or somebody else's. Let's all work together to keep the beach cleaner. Knowing what to expect, that's one of the best things that you can possibly do. So this week, first week of May, is Hurricane Preparedness Week, brought to you by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. A lot of people mistakenly think that NOAA only talks about climate change and that they need to be shut down. That is one of the most backwards, stupid ideas I've ever heard in my entire life. NOAA does a very good job in making certain that everybody gets the information they need to be informed, prepared, and ready to go. So we would love to be able to see more from NOAA on this if at all possible. But for this week, again, this is the topic list that'll be featured day by day throughout the next several days. The topic for Monday is all about preparing before hurricane season hits, developing an evacuation plan, assembling disaster supplies. And if you're going to the beach, wouldn't be a bad idea to have a little bit extra ready to go just in case, because when a warning is issued or the forecast changes that shows the hurricane making its way to a particular area, it's a pretty good bet that you will see the supplies in the stores vanish very quickly, and it's not going to be that much left over. So planning ahead now, especially keeping an eye on what's going on out there for a hurricane forecast, will make you want to get your supplies ready to go. Insurance, make certain your checkup is all taken care of, whether it's your car traveling to a rental on the beach, or if you have a home down that direction that you do a timeshare with, or maybe you're planning on going down there for the rest of the summer, retiree, anything like that. Getting your insurance checked up would be a very good idea. I believe there's a 30-day waiting period on flood insurance information confirmation. Find out more about that at flood.gov for more details. A communication plan, handwritten list of contacts, making certain that you have people on your contact list to make certain that they know that you're going to be here on one date, here on another, coming home here, leaving here, whenever it is. Best idea is to make certain you can communicate, because if you get stuck in a situation that you can't get out of, you're trapped someplace because you didn't get out in time or because of damage caused by a storm, and you're stuck to weather out the storm right there, it would help if everybody who cares about you knew that you are okay. So planning ahead for that communication is a very good idea. Add to that, if you have a cell phone tower that you're depending on in one area, and that cell phone tower gets blown over or demolished or otherwise just stops working, the best thing you can possibly do is to make certain you call ahead of time and let your out-of-town contact know where you are. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, you're just borrowing trouble. That will never happen to me because, why? It's never happened to me before, so I don't have to worry about the future. Well, that is called optimism bias, and that is a whole other topic for another time. But the basic idea is, yes, you do need to prepare for this, and if you're heading to a place that could see anything in the way of a landfall from a hurricane, you need to be prepared to turn around and get out of there if at all possible. You don't want to be heading into a place that's going to be having everybody leave that area and you stuck in the scrum to get out of that direction. I took my son down with my dad to Gulfport, Mississippi, about 10 days before a storm named Katrina formed out in the Atlantic. So again, knowing about these type of situations and paying attention to the forecast, one of the best things you can do. Where to go for more information? Again, if you hate NOAA because they talk about climate change, well, then don't do this. If you do want to know more because you want to know more about the dangers of hurricanes and how to be prepared for them, excellent website to go to. Yes, NOAA talks about climate change, but no, obviously they do not just talk about climate change. Certain people in a certain project really need to stop this idea of getting rid of NOAA or demolishing it from the inside out. You're only hurting the citizens of the United States when you're talking and doing what you're doing. It's really not fair, it's not right, and it has no sense to it whatsoever that if you take a agency that is designed to protect and inform the citizens of the United States offline or demolish it or mothball or whatever you want to call it, that you're protecting the people of the United States from this climate change nonsense. You really need to go back to science class and you need to pay attention this time around because getting rid of NOAA, not a great idea. So again, if you would like to know more, NOAA.gov/hurricane-prep. If you don't want to know more because you hate NOAA for talking, even daring to whisper about climate change, well then don't go to the website and just clap your hands over your ears and hum really loud when I'm talking about NOAA in any way, shape, or form. So thanks to the National Weather Service in Nashville and NOAA, the parent agency the National Weather Service works under. Oh, look, another good example about what NOAA does to keep you and me informed and safe. Weather 101, the online weather webinar program, is coming down to its final weeks in regards to the topics. They'll start it up again as assuming NOAA is still around and a certain project hasn't demolished it by the end of the year. NOAA will be doing these fall semester coming up, give or take somewhere around October, November, somewhere in there. So if you'd like to know more about all sorts of weather, next several weeks, Wednesday, radar. Monday next, upper air soundings. Tuesday next week, quasi-linear convective systems. And for those of you who are going to email and say, oh, you're just throwing words together, trying to scare people. No, I'm not. And this is a real thing and definitely something to pay attention to, especially during severe weather. All the way up to Wednesday, May the 21st, talking about forecast models. This is prime information, and what it's designed for is, again, it's education for the public. If you don't know that much about weather, if you'd like to know more, if you have kids that would like to know more, this is an excellent opportunity to learn about what goes on with weather. If you have questions, the meteorologists and personnel who put these programs together, great opportunity to ask, and all you have to do to find out more is to go to their website at weather.gov/OHX, the three-letter delineator, the code again for the National Weather Service in Nashville. Again, tonight's topic, which is now over and done with, was all about fire weather. Really cool that they have this broad range of information on there. Again, this is just one more good example of what NOAA does and why it is so important for people who think a certain project should demolish NOAA. Really need to think again and examine what they're thinking and why. It's very unfair to see what's going on at the National Weather Service these days, being classified as waste when the area experts from South Africa can't really seem to demonstrate that they're actually finding waste, and instead they seem to be causing more damage and spending more money than they actually seem to be saving. interesting that's happening and that they can't really confirm anything that they've actually saved yet. And on that note, while we're talking about this, this was our question for tonight. And we asked this because I'm a big science person, and the idea that you can take a look at a science agency and the funding that goes into it with a big return on an investment toward us, it's madness to think about, well, if we cut this down, we're improving the American way of life. A certain president by the initials JFK, at his speech at Rice University back in 1962, where he challenged the country to put a man on the moon and return him safely to the earth, said very famously in the same speech that the nation that falls behind when it comes to space, technology, research, exploration, anything like that, cannot long expect to remain a leader on the world stage. Yes, I'm paraphrasing on that, but it's pretty much exactly what he said, and it's true. So for right now, I am exceptionally confused over the fact that our current president has said, we're going back to the moon, we're going to be doing all these incredible things, but now DOGE has recommended that the White House cut NASA's budget by 25, 47, or 66%. Well, the information from the Planetary Society, which watches what goes on in Congress when it comes to science, technology, space spending, things like that, is showing that by 2026, nearly half of NASA's budget is going to be axed if the White House makes this official. That's going to hamstring a lot of problems. And if this happens, the Orion capsule that was supposed to be under development, gone. The Artemis project that's supposed to take America back to the moon, gone. There's a lot of things that are going to be cut out. So and somebody needs to explain this to me like I'm 5 years old, to where the current president, not JFK, the current president said, we need to do all this to make America great again, to maintain us as a number one country. Why are we slashing NASA's budget to do this? At what point in time does this hunt for waste really resemble Joe McCarthy's hunt for communists hiding in our soup back in the 50s? This is madness. This is absolutely backwards behavior to talk about the idea that if we want to be explorers and lead the way in space, we're going to gut by half NASA's budget. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. So maybe there's something I'm just not getting here. Maybe I'm completely and totally obtuse, but it seems to me that a certain president has backtalked his way out of the situation. There's no way that a lot of these projects can continue when the budget is cut severely as this. And 47%, again, that's according to the Planetary Society, which keeps a very close eye and ear to what's going on in Congress and the mood of the country when it comes to science, exploration, technology, things like that. So you can disagree with me, you can call me a liar, but again, this information comes to us from the Planetary Society and pretty much, if this is made official, from the White House. So again, I don't see how we're going to be able to have missions like Artemis and the Orion capsule and things of that nature continue when this is going to be our expectation. We're going to lead the way, but we're going to cut out the budget for us to be able to make that happen and get a return investment on us to be able to take us to space and apparently make us great in space again, number one, but cutting us down to the bone. This does not make any sense, and I really don't understand why and how this is actually happening on here. So I've got a lot of questions, and if you are an American who wants to see us go forward, this whole absolutely ridiculous idea of finding waste and fraud, but cutting it out of places like this, absolutely stupid. And just because some South African billionaire says that this is a good idea does not actually mean it is a good idea. And I wish that people in Congress would stand up and say stop to this. This is absolutely ludicrous. And the voters of this country need to stand up. Contact your Congress people and let them know about this. Maybe you approve of this. Maybe you like to wave your finger and say, we're number one in this country. Well, how does this help? This makes, again, no sense to me whatsoever on this. So we're supposedly, according to the current president, really going forward with space. But then we cut out half the budget. It's not going to work that way, obviously. So this is something to really consider on there. Thanks to roofquotes.com for sponsoring our weather question of the day. Really do appreciate that. And we'll have a new poll for you coming up at midnight tonight if you'd like to see anything more there. Wow, we've been on for half an hour. I did not know that we were going to be on with that much information. Game time tomorrow is going to be a little bit earlier. The Lookouts are back home again to take on the visiting Knoxville Smokies from just up the road a bit. The game time tomorrow is going to be, again, a little bit different. It's going to be at 6:05 p.m., so it's going to be a lot of sunlight out there by the time the first pitch rolls around. And seventh inning stretch will still be on the warm side, but no chance of rainfall being seen tomorrow. Wish we could say the same about Wednesday, but that's not going to be happening. Westerly winds, that could push a lot of the pop flies over toward first base, right field, and the stands over that direction on the east side of the stadium down below. So definitely want to watch out for that, but should be a good evening as the Lookouts take on the Smokies. Again, that's at 6:05 tomorrow, not 7:15 for Tuesday. So definitely want to pay attention to what's going on there. Thanks to everybody. It's been a busy month of April, as I've gone to many different locations out there, career days, pre-kindergartens, all kinds of levels in between. If you'd like us to come to your group and talk weather, and not just about weather in the classroom, if you have a civic group, if you have a church group, if you have a summer camp, science or math camp coming up, or if you have a scout troop, or if you have a gardening club, anything that would like to know about weather, you know where to go to, wdef.com/weather, and fill out the form and ask us to come and talk at your group. We'd be glad to do so, but we don't just show up someplace. So go to wdef.com/weather, go to the weather in the classroom section, and we would love to consider hammering out a date on there to where you and I could meet with your group and see what goes on. Glad to be able to have that on there. And again, please give us a shout by email. We'd love to know more about what you're seeing out there and what your group would love to talk about when it comes to weather, science, climate change, anything like that. All right, heading out the door in the morning. It is going to be, again, brisk, so definitely want to make certain you and the pupper are bundled up properly, because we're talking 40s about the time the sun comes up, and then clouds coming and going. No real chance of rainfall for tomorrow. Thanks to Lucy Gardner in Cleveland for a view of Lucy Lou, our pupper picture, dog walking forecast picture of the day. Submit yours at wdef.com/dogwalk if you'd like to submit yours. Would love to have your pupper picture on there, but we can't show them unless you send them, so go ahead and send those in to us. What else do we have to talk about? Is that it? I think that was it. We've done golf, we've done outdoors, we did the almanac, current information, air quality. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for right now. So, okay, that looks pretty good. For right now, we're going to go ahead and call it quits. Hard to believe we've been on for nearly 40 minutes for tonight. That should do it. Again, thanks to everybody for stopping by and keeping an ear on things regarding weather. I'll have more tomorrow afternoon and evening, so tune in for that. And, of course, Chip Chapman will have more on the morning show that starts Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern. So tune in for more details on what's going on there. Live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek, somewhere right about there on the map, if I'm not mistaken. Thanks a lot for joining us, and stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online. And we'll catch you again coming up on Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us.